Imagine living in a world where superheroes are not heroes at all. They smile on cameras, they save people in public, and the entire world worships them like gods. But behind closed doors, these so-called heroes are arrogant, violent, corrupt, and completely out of control. Now imagine one ordinary man deciding to fight them, not with superpowers, not with magic, but with pure rage. And the worst part, the strongest superhero on Earth can hear your heartbeat from miles away. This is The Boys. Released in 2019, The Boys is a dark superhero drama packed with action, suspense, violence, and shocking twists. The series takes place in a world where superheroes are controlled by a giant corporation called Vought. To the public, they are celebrities and saviors. But behind the cameras, they are monsters. And one small group of broken people decides to expose them. The story starts with a normal young man named Huey Campbell. Huey is soft-spoken, quiet, and harmless. He works in an electronics store. He has a loving girlfriend named Robin. And for a moment, life feels peaceful. But then everything changes in 1 second. Robin suddenly explodes in blood right in front of Huey. He freezes. He cannot even understand what happened. Then we see the truth. A superhero called A-Train accidentally ran straight through her at super speed. And the horrifying part, A-Train barely cares. He just says sorry and disappears. The scene is brutal, silent, disturbing. And this is the exact moment Huey begins to hate superheroes. Soon after, Huey meets a mysterious man named Billy Butcher. Butcher is dangerous, cold, aggressive, and always angry. He hates superheroes more than anyone, especially one man, Homelander. Butcher believes superheroes are corrupt and need to be destroyed. So he secretly leads a small underground group called the Boys. Their mission is simple: expose the truth, destroy the heroes, no matter what it costs. And Huey slowly gets dragged into this violent world. Now the story introduces the most famous superhero team in the world, the Seven. They are basically celebrities mixed with gods. Millions of people adore them. Every move is controlled by Vought's marketing team. But inside the tower, things are dark. First we meet Homelander, the leader of the Seven. He wears an American flag cape. He smiles like a perfect hero, but his eyes feel empty. Homelander is terrifying because he does not just have powers. He has absolute power, super strength, flight, laser vision, super hearing, and almost nobody can stop him. But mentally, he is unstable, lonely, and emotionally broken. The show slowly makes us realize something terrifying. Homelander is not protecting humanity. Humanity is trapped under him. Next we meet Annie January, also known as Starlight. Unlike the others, Annie is genuinely kind. She actually wants to help people. Joining the Seven is her childhood dream. But the moment she enters that world, her innocence begins to die. One of the heroes that deep secretly assaults her and threatens her career. The scene is uncomfortable and disturbing, because suddenly the glamorous superhero world feels rotten. Annie realizes these heroes are not symbols of hope. They are products, controlled by fame, money, and fear. In the middle of all this darkness, Huey accidentally meets Annie. Neither of them knows the other's secret at first. Their chemistry feels natural, warm, awkward, human. And this relationship becomes important because it reminds viewers there is still goodness left in this broken world. But keeping secrets from each other slowly creates tension, because Huey is secretly helping people who want to destroy superheroes, and Annie is one of them. Now the story becomes more intense. Butcher introduces Huey to the rest of the team. Mother's milk, smart and disciplined. Frenchie, chaotic but brilliant. Kimiko, a silent woman with terrifying strength and a tragic past. Each member carries emotional scars caused by superheroes. And unlike traditional heroes, the boys fight dirty. Blackmail, espionage, explosions, manipulation. They know they cannot beat superheroes in a fair fight, so they attack from the shadows. Every mission feels dangerous because one mistake could get them instantly killed, especially if Homelander appears. As the story progresses, Homelander becomes more frightening. At first he seems calm, controlled, almost heroic, but slowly, his mask starts cracking. He manipulates everyone around him, threatens innocent people, and kills without guilt. One of the most shocking moments happens when Homelander and Queen Maeve fail to save a crashing airplane. The passengers beg for help. People scream. Children cry. But Homelander decides to leave them all to die. And the scariest part? He does not feel sadness. He only worries about public image. That scene completely changes the tone of the show, because now viewers understand this man is capable of absolutely anything. Soon the boys uncover a massive secret. Superheroes are not chosen by destiny. They are created. A chemical called Compound V is secretly injected into children. Vought has been manufacturing superheroes for decades. Everything is fake. The hero stories, the marketing, the inspiration, all manufactured. This revelation changes everything. Suddenly superheroes stop feeling magical. They become products made in laboratories. And Vought begins to look less like a company and more like a global monster. Now the story slows down emotionally. We learn why Butcher hates Homelander so much. His wife Becca disappeared years ago after allegedly being assaulted by Homelander. Butcher believes Homelander destroyed his entire life. This pain drives every decision he makes. Even when innocent people get hurt. Even when his own team suffers. Butcher is not a pure hero. That makes him interesting. Sometimes viewers even question whether he is becoming just as dangerous as the people he hunts. The tension rises hard near the finale. Butcher finally confronts Homelander. The atmosphere becomes terrifying, because standing near Homelander feels like standing beside a nuclear bomb. But then comes a twist. Becca is alive. Not only alive, she has been secretly raising Homelander's son. The reveal completely destroys Butcher emotionally. Everything he believed for years suddenly changes. And Homelander smiles while watching the chaos. The season ends with pure shock. Now things become even more dangerous. A new superhero named Stormfront joins the Seven. At first, she seems funny, confident, and rebellious. But slowly, her true nature is revealed. Stormfront is secretly a racist extremist with terrifying powers. And unlike Homelander, she is highly intelligent, manipulative, strategic. Together, she and Homelander become a nightmare combination. The show now explores media manipulation, political propaganda, and online influence. Every speech, every interview, every public appearance is carefully designed to control society. Meanwhile, Annie finally reaches her limit. She realizes Vought destroys innocent lives every day. So, she secretly starts helping the boys. This creates massive tension because she is trapped inside enemy territory. One wrong move, and Homelander could kill her instantly. Their scenes together become terrifying. Homelander smiles while speaking politely, but viewers can feel the danger underneath every word. The series also spends time exploring Kimiko's trauma. Unlike many superheroes, she never wanted powers. Her life was stolen from her. Her silence makes her emotional scenes even stronger. Sometimes she says nothing, but her eyes tell the entire story. The show constantly reminds viewers that powers do not create happiness. Most of these characters are deeply broken inside. As pressure increases, Homelander slowly becomes unstable. He starts craving love and worship more than ever. And when he feels rejected, he becomes terrifying. There are moments where viewers genuinely cannot predict whether he will smile or massacre everyone in the room. That unpredictability makes him one of the most dangerous villains in television. Because Homelander does not need an army. He alone is the weapon. Near the climax of Season 2, the truth about Stormfront is exposed. She is connected to Nazi ideology and secretly believes superheroes are superior beings. The tension explodes. Now, the conflict becomes bigger than revenge. It becomes a fight for the future of humanity itself. The final battle is chaotic and emotional. Laser beams, explosions, screams, pure destruction. And finally, Stormfront is defeated, but the emotional damage remains. Season 3 introduces a huge new threat. Soldier Boy, the original superhero legend. People believed he was a patriotic war hero, but just like the others, reality is darker. Soldier Boy is violent, unstable, and emotionally damaged. His arrival completely changes the power balance, because for the first time, there may actually be someone capable of hurting Homelander. This creates massive suspense throughout the season. What happens when two unstoppable monsters finally collide? Now things become morally complicated. Butcher and Huey start using temporary Compound V to gain powers. At first it feels exciting, but slowly the show reveals the cost. Power changes people. Huey becomes more aggressive. Butcher becomes even darker. The series constantly asks one important question. Can someone fight monsters without becoming one? One of the craziest moments in the entire series arrives during Harrigasm, a secret gathering where superheroes completely lose control. The atmosphere feels chaotic, disturbing, and unpredictable. But underneath the madness, a massive confrontation is building. Finally, Homelander, Butcher, Soldier Boy, and Huey collide. The fight is brutal, fast, explosive. For the first time ever, Homelander actually struggles, and viewers realize something shocking. He can bleed. That single moment changes everything, because gods are not supposed to bleed. One of the strongest emotional parts of the story is Homelander's relationship with his son Ryan. Homelander desperately wants Ryan to love him, but he also manipulates the child emotionally. Ryan becomes symbolically important. He represents the next generation. Will he become a hero, or another monster created by trauma and power? That uncertainty creates emotional tension in almost every scene involving him. The final episodes move at insane speed. Alliances break. Trust collapses. Everyone is desperate. Soldier Boy prepares to attack Homelander, but Ryan gets caught in the middle. Suddenly, the conflict becomes emotional instead of tactical. Butcher faces an impossible decision: kill Homelander or protect the child. The battle explodes. Walls collapse. Laser vision tears through rooms. Characters scream and bleed. And somehow, Homelander survives again. But the ending becomes even more disturbing. Homelander openly kills a civilian in public. And instead of panicking, some people cheer for him. That final moment is terrifying, because the show is no longer just about evil superheroes. It becomes a warning about society itself. The Boys is not just a superhero series. It is a dark satire about power, celebrity, culture, politics, corporations, and blind worship. The superheroes represent people with unchecked influence. Vought represents corporations that care more about profit than morality. And Homelander represents what happens when someone receives unlimited power without love, accountability, or emotional stability. The series constantly asks dangerous questions. Why do people worship powerful figures so easily? Why does society ignore corruption when entertainment distracts them? And how far will companies go to protect their image? Even the heroes fighting evil are morally damaged, because in this world, there are no perfect heroes, only damaged people trying to survive. After everything that happened in Season 3, the world becomes even more dangerous. Now Homelander is no longer hiding who he truly is. And the most terrifying part, people still support him. Some even worship him more than before. The season immediately feels darker and more uncomfortable, because society itself is starting to break apart. Meanwhile, the boys are struggling badly. Butcher learns that the temporary Compound V has damaged his body. He is slowly dying. For the first time, viewers see cracks in his confidence. But instead of slowing down, he becomes even more reckless, because now he believes he has nothing left to lose. One of the biggest threats in Season 4 is Victoria Newman. To the public, she appears calm, intelligent, and trustworthy. But secretly, she is incredibly dangerous. She has the terrifying ability to explode people's heads instantly, and now she is getting closer to political power. The series slowly builds tension around her, because unlike Homelander, Newman does not rely on fear alone. She hides behind politics, public speeches, and manipulation. The show makes it clear that power can wear a smile. Season 4 dives deeper into Homelander's psychology. He becomes more unstable than ever before. There are moments where he desperately wants love, and seconds later, he becomes terrifyingly cruel. The scariest scenes are not always action scenes. Sometimes Homelander is just standing quietly, smiling, looking completely calm, but viewers know something horrible could happen at any second. That constant tension keeps every scene uncomfortable. The series also explores Homelander's childhood trauma. He was raised in laboratories, experimented on, emotionally isolated. The show does not excuse his evil actions, but it explains how a human being can become a monster when raised without love or humanity. Now Ryan becomes one of the most important characters in the story, because everyone wants to influence him. Butcher wants to protect him, Homelander wants to control him, and Ryan himself is confused. He is just a child carrying terrifying power. Some scenes between Ryan and Homelander feel deeply uncomfortable, because Homelander slowly teaches him to stop caring about ordinary people. The audience begins to fear what Ryan could become in the future. Inside the team, tension rises constantly. Trust starts breaking. Mother's Milk becomes exhausted. Frenchie struggles emotionally with his past. Kimiko questions whether violence can ever truly solve anything. And Butcher keeps making darker decisions. At times, even his own team starts fearing him. This makes the story stronger, because the real battle is no longer just humans versus superheroes. It becomes a battle for morality itself. Another major character enters the story. Sister Sage, the smartest person in the world. Unlike most superheroes, her greatest weapon is intelligence, and Homelander begins listening to her. That alone becomes terrifying, because Homelander with strategy is far more dangerous than Homelander driven only by emotion. Sage quietly manipulates events behind the scenes, and viewers slowly realize she may be one of the most dangerous people in the entire series. Season 4 pushes the brutality even further. Explosive fights, graphic deaths, psychological horror. But underneath all the chaos, the show keeps focusing on one core idea. People in power will keep crossing lines if nobody stops them, and society often notices the truth too late. The finale becomes chaotic and emotionally intense. Homelander's influence continues growing. Political conflict increases. Fear spreads everywhere, and the boys realize something horrifying. They are running out of time. The world is slowly accepting authoritarian control. Meanwhile, Butcher makes one final shocking choice. Even while dying, he refuses to stop fighting. The ending leaves viewers with massive tension for the future, because now the conflict feels bigger than ever before. Season 5 has been announced as the final season of The Boys, and this is where everything is expected to come full circle. The final season is building toward the ultimate war between Homelander and Butcher, but this time it is not just a physical fight. It is a complete collapse of ideology, morality, and control. Homelander is now at a point where he is no longer pretending to be a hero. He is openly shaping society in his image. And the terrifying part is, he still has supporters. Ryan's role becomes even more important here, because he is the key to the next generation. A child caught between two extremes. One side is love mixed with control. The other side is protection mixed with destruction. Butcher, on the other hand, is nearing the end of his life. And this changes everything, because now his decisions are no longer about survival. They are about legacy. The final season is expected to push every character to their limit. We are likely to see Homelander completely losing his last emotional restraints, Butcher making one final irreversible choice, Ryan becoming the center of a moral war, and the boys either breaking apart completely or uniting for one last mission. The biggest question the final season is building toward is simple but terrifying. If Homelander represents absolute power, what does it take to finally stop him? Or worse, what if stopping him costs more than the world is willing to pay? Everything in the story has been leading to this final confrontation, and no matter who wins, the world will never go back to normal. Because The Boys is not just about defeating villains. It is about what happens after the truth is finally revealed, and that truth always comes with consequences. By the end of Season 3, the world is more unstable than ever. Homelander is stronger politically. Ryan is slowly moving closer to him. The boys are divided, and society itself feels emotionally manipulated. The terrifying message is clear. The real danger is not only superpowers, it is power without consequences. And the scariest part, people may still support evil, if evil entertains them. That is why The Boys feels so realistic despite being fictional. Underneath all the explosions and violence, it reflects real human behavior. And that brings us to the end of this complete story breakdown. A world where superheroes are more terrifying than villains. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more cinematic movie and series explanations. And tell me in the comments, which character in The Boys do you fear the most? Homelander, Stormfront, or maybe Billy Butcher himself? Our next explanation is going to be even darker, crazier, and more mind-blowing. So stay tuned. Until next time, keep watching.